boys. Here we go. Come on.
All right, boys, let's have some fun.
Hi, welcome to the Galbraith Report. We are back after 5 days absence. Life really does get in the way sometimes. To talk about NHL ice hockey, I'm Craig Anderson, media manager, communications manager from Scotland, alongside former ice hockey player Jade Galbraith. And we're just going to shoot the shit over the NHL. We're going to talk a bit about the World Championships as well. But Jade, firstly, how are you doing? What have you been up to the last 5 days?
You know, just working. Same old, same old. Now that spring hockey's starting in Canada. So it's different over here than Europe, or maybe it's not. I don't know. But the season usually ends around April, and then you get a little bit of time, and then spring hockey starts. So starting to get back into that, just doing some skills and whatnot. A lot of the players I train in junior hockey and pro, they all want to start around end of May or whatever. So it's starting to get a little bit busy. But right now it's kind of a calm before the storm. So it's nice to get some time in at home with the family. And then probably by after the May long weekend here, which is this weekend coming up, that's when we start to get at it. So, it's good, nice and easy now, but it's going to heat up here pretty soon. So,
of course, Mother's Day where you are as well. It was Mother's Day at the weekend. Did you see your mum?
No, I didn't. She says to say hi and thank you for the birthday message that you put on there. She's a listener, of course. No, we're going to see her this weekend, the May long weekend. So, I'll be able to see her. She lives in Florida in the winter, so I don't get to see her till like spring and stuff. So, anyway, she says hi and thank you. So that's good. Thanks, Greg.
Hope you're keeping well, Michelle. Right, let's get down to business in the NHL. We're well into the playoffs now. The second round continues. 3 ties still remain outstanding. One team already through to their respective conference final. But we'll start in the West first. And last night, as we record, this is Tuesday, the 12th of May. It's mid to late afternoon where I am. It's kind of morning where you are, Jade. Minnesota Wild against Colorado Avalanche. There's been 2 games since we last recorded. Wild won Game 3. Didn't see that one coming. But then Avalanche got that back last night to win 5-2, lead 3-1 in the series. That's picking up nicely. I can't help thinking that Wild win in Game 3 was a blip. What did you make of what you've seen?
Well, again, they're right on the cusp, right? You watch the first 2 games. Colorado was the better team. I'm not going to say that Minnesota was better, but they were getting better. And then the Game 3, wow, did they ever open it up? Just seemed like Colorado just couldn't get anything going, and Minnesota is very, very good with their D activating, which means they're in the play all the time. Quinn Hughes, man, that guy, I think he had 30-something minutes Game 3, and then yesterday another 30-something minutes or right around there. The guy's a workhorse. And not to say anything back against Faber. Faber, again, those 2 guys are just like, it's crazy. I don't know how they play so many minutes. It's like they're never tired. So again, when you have defense like that, it's tough to generate offense when they're always in there. They're activating, they're joining the cycle, they're in and out. So Colorado in Game 3, it just seemed like they were standing still the whole game, in the offensive zone at least. And Minnesota it was crazy. It was nice to watch. It was a really, really nice display of 5 men all playing together, neutrals from the D zone to the O zone, neutral zone. Like they were just all working together. It really like shocked me to see how bad they kind of dominated at times against Colorado, because Colorado's they're just a powerhouse. So Game 4 yesterday, I was kind of thinking that the same would happen, and for the most part, about the I'm going to rush to Game 4. Colorado had more shots, but I'll tell you ask anybody, Minnesota had more in zone time. They had more puck possession time. They just seemed like they were the better team. We were texting with a few people, and we were all in agreement with that. Minnesota, if they kept that up, we kept the pressure up, no matter the shots or whatever, they were pretty picky on what shots they were taking, which I like, because they weren't throwing the puck away. They weren't getting unnecessary whistles from the goalie making easy stops. So I think if they kept that going, I was like, wow, they're just figuring out a way to play against them. But then Colorado just kind of was like, okay, enough's enough. And, they just tilted the ice. And you see once they tied it, they went up. Minnesota tied it up again at 2-2. And then after that, though, after it was 2-2 Colorado, they just put the boots to them. And just, you could just tell that they just opened it up. And after 3-2, I just had a feeling it was going to be lights out, just with the way the momentum was going. So again, Minnesota, God, if they could have got that win, you never know if the series would have changed. But Colorado's like we were saying, the Carolina and them are just heads above, I think, the rest of the crew. But you never know what's going to happen in the conference finals. But as of right now, what Avs showed in Game 3 after the first period, I'd say second and third, they showed why they're dominating the series and probably going to this Cup finals.
Yeah, Avalanche, just a couple of things that I noted. Nathan McKinnon, a 5-game point streak. He's got 11 points, 6 goals and 5 assists.
5 goals. 5 goals in 5 games in a row.
And you've got Nazem Kadri.
He's a man-child right now. He is an absolute man-child. So I agree, yes.
And you've got Nazem Kadri. He's also on a 5-game point streak, 2 and 3. Of course, he came in from your beloved Calgary Flames. How much of a miss has he been for Calgary when you look at him and how well he's doing at the Avs?
I don't mind Kadri at all. Again, the guy's a grinder. He, with some skill, you know what you get from him every game. And that's something that at the professional level is hard. It's hard to be consistent. Your superstars, they're going to be doing their thing all the time. But a guy like Kadri, a second, third line guy with Colorado for sure, he's probably second, third line. On some teams, he'd be maybe first line. But I really like his game because he gives some grit. He's got some skill. He's good on a power play. As you see, he's playing the first unit on the power play. That's where most of his points are coming from. But yeah, Calgary, we had him for a bunch of years. And again, he can't drive a line in a team, but he's definitely last cup he won before he came to Calgary was in Colorado, and he's a great supplemental or secondary option, secondary scoring, secondary center. He can play that backup role. He doesn't have to be the star, which I don't think he can be on a team anymore. But I think definitely when he went to Colorado, I was like, that's a great pickup for Colorado because he can slot in there anywhere. He can play fourth line, first line. He's a Swiss Army knife, and I'm happy for him because again, it's been a tough slug in Calgary. So for him to get to go to Colorado again and do this, and you know what, maybe Colorado's smart. They're going to get their good luck charm back. So last time when they traded for him, they won a cup. So hey, you never know. It could be 2 for 2. But on the other hand, I think this is his last year of his deal. If I'm Colorado, I'd sign him. And if I'm Nazem, if they win the cup this year and I'm Nazem, I'm signing back in Colorado for 1-year contracts just to see if I could win 3 or 4 more cups because it just seems like it's just a good fit for him. So I'm happy he's there, happy he's doing well. So good for him.
Game 3, the Wild brought back Jesper Wallstedt back in goal from Philip Gustafsson, who played before. But let's give a shout out to Mackenzie Blackwood, who came in at 3-0 down in Game 3 to replace Scott Wedgwood. I don't think had the best start to a game. And then Blackwood was continued on for Game 4 last night, 19 out of 21 saves. So it's his first appearances post-season, and he's taking his chance really well.
Well, they talked to Bednar before the game and after the loss, and they said both of the goalies were going to be playing playoff games. He said, well, we're going to lose a game. We've been doing it all season, back and forth and whatnot. So in the playoffs, you have your number one who's going to go in there or your 1A. And goaltending nowadays is not like goaltending back when I played in the 80s where a goalie would play 75 to 80 games. Grant Fuhr
played in the 80s.
You played in the 80s, so I watched. I'm just saying, you know what I mean, Grant. I'm old, man. I'm 44 years old.
I'm older than you.
Yeah, I know, but again, what I'm saying is, back in that day, goalies, number one goalies, would play at least 65 games. Nowadays, that's very, very hard to do. So with Bednar saying that Blackwood was going to get in, I wasn't shocked or anything like that. It's a tough game for a goalie because you say you have a good game, but you lose. You have to switch up. You got to try to change the flow, change, the mindset. And it sucks for goalies because I say the hardest position in sports is a goalie. The amount of pressure, starting pitching in baseball, same sort of thing, goaltending in soccer and stuff like that. I get it. It's very hard. But yeah, especially in the playoffs, it's so hard that, but again, as a goalie, it's not the old way where, you'd fight for your spot and you wouldn't want to talk to the other goalie. You hear some horror stories from the 90s and stuff and losing the net and there's fights in the room and stuff. It was pretty crazy. But nowadays they work in tandem. They really help each other out. And I think that's way better for the camaraderie of the team and the cohesion. So when I saw Blackwood get the start, I wasn't too shocked at all. And they're all professionals. As a forward or as an out player, a player that didn't play a goal, when another goalie went in, you gotta play the same way. You can't just say, "Oh God, well our starter's not playing, we're gonna lose." Blah blah blah. It's not that. The mentality is different now. Every goalie in the NHL is good. Every goalie in the playoffs is legit. Like there's 5 elite goalies, then there's probably 10 to 12 1Bs, and then the rest are right on the cusp of being 1B. So goaltending, how many teams are in the league? 32. So that's 64 goalies that are in the NHL. 64. That's it. You have to be one of the best 64 goalies in the world, and not even in the world, because there's some goalies in the KHL, the DEL, all those leagues that probably could play in the NHL. And so that's the thing is just because your starter's not playing, you got another guy right there that's just as good. And nowadays you can't let that stuff bother you. So anyway, I'm rambling on about that. But again, I was really, really happy to see Blackwood and the way he played. And I wasn't surprised at all.
Good. Now, Game 5 is on Wednesday. As we mentioned, Avalanche are 3-1 up in the series. Can Wild get another game, stretch it to Game 6? Can they do that?
I think they can. Again, it's in Colorado. It's going to be tough. Sometimes it's on your elimination game. Sometimes it's better to go on the road. There, you're obviously they're not favored, so they're going to be an underdog. There's no pressure whatsoever on Minnesota. They can just go out there and play freely. So I think they can. But they have to play an unbelievable game. They have to be, the mistakes have to be limited to like minuscule amounts. They can't take penalties. It's going to be one of those games where they have to play a perfect game to win. Colorado's just that good right now. And but I definitely think Minnesota can do it.
Okay. Right, let's move on to the other tie in round 2 in the West, and that's the Vegas Golden Knights against Anaheim Ducks. On Friday, Game 3, Vegas won by 6-2 to take a 2-1 lead in the series. Mitch Marner hit a hat-trick in that one to help get them the victory. They were 5-0 up at one point without reply. Then on Sunday, Game 4, and the Ducks won that one by 4-3. So the series is tied at 2-2, going into Game 5 tonight as we record. Bear in mind, we're recording what is Tuesday afternoon, where I am in the morning, but where Jade is.
Tuesday morning here, yeah.
But Mitch Marner, he got 3 goals on Friday. He got 3 assists in the game on Sunday. That's 7 points in 2 games, 16 points in total and out of 10 altogether. That guy's on a hot streak.
Yeah, he's leading the league right now, leading the playoffs right now, which is crazy. They were showing stats. Every point he gets goes above his career points for the Leafs. So he won 1 playoff round in all the years he was in Toronto. They made the playoffs almost every year. They had a good regular season team. So he is loving life, leaving and going to Vegas. Just he's showing what he can do. Vegas is the type of team that they have stars. Believe me, they have stars, but they play in a way that nobody really gets more credit than the other person. And that's why they have so much success. They don't rely on one guy. They don't, obviously the Toronto media is tough to live in, and it's tough because when you're doing great, it's great. When you're having a tough go, they'll fucking crucify you. So again, I think he's playing freely. The pressure he doesn't feel. Again, last game, thought he played really, really well. But again, the Ducks, they're like the little engine that could. Every time you think that they're down and out, every time, because Vegas, I thought was the better team in Game 3, was by a big margin. That's the thing about good coaching. That's the thing about young kids is they can forget about a loss so quick and just be like, oh, God, I'm playing hockey. We're in the playoffs. They get the excitement, the enthusiasm from those young kids. Like when I played and we were in playoffs and, something happened where we got a loss and you see the young kids the next day, smiles on their faces, just happy to be at the rink, just that. And it changes your point of view and it changes your demeanor. It changes everything when you see a young kid just happy to be at the rink. And I just think that the Ducks are that team. I'm going out on a limb here because every odds maker's taking Vegas. I have a feeling the Ducks are going to take the series in 7. They don't show me any. They can let things go so easily. They're so well coached with Quenneville being there. Don't get me wrong, Torts is one of my favorite coaches. I friggin' love that guy. Not because of he's like me where he's a hothead and he'll say what he feels and he'll hold you accountable and all that stuff. I love Torts as a – you don't realize that guy's an elite coach. And he's not there because of his antics. He's there because he knows the game. And those two guys going against each other – I love it. I love the gamesmanship, the little subtleties, changing a player here, a player there. Again, they've coached against each other for so long that, you start to know people's style and whatnot. But again, they'll throw curveballs at you all the time. But that series to me I love it. It's other than Minnesota Avs, I think the Ducks and the Golden Knights are 1B with me. Because I just think it's going to go to 7 and it's going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I love that, like Montreal and Tampa in the first. So again, the Ducks, I just love them. That Seneca again scored. Cutter Gauthier, that kid's it just baffles me what he's doing right now. Those young kids, it's pretty unbelievable to watch. So again, Vegas, the experience. Marner's on a heater as well. Their power play is doing pretty well. Ducks was 2 for 4 the last game on Sunday. Golden Knights 1 for 3. So they're right at close. They're not giving up a lot of power plays, which is good, especially in the playoffs. So anyway, I'm just really pumped, to see who comes out of there. But I just maybe I'm hoping more for the Ducks than the Golden Knights. But I just think it's a Cinderella. So I think they might pull it out in Game 7.
There's an element as well from looking at it from a media point of view. Of course, Coach Q, there was the scandal at Chicago some years ago, and there was a kind of fallout from that, and I think he was one of the kind of casualties from it. This is almost like a redemption story for him, isn't it?
To come back and to do what he's doing now, it just shows, why he gets jobs continuously and why he has so many coaching games and wins and all of that. Never met the man, but was coached by one of his assistant coaches and he had nothing even remotely negative ever to say about just a salt of the earth guy. So again, I think that what he's doing now is he's getting over it, and it sucks when that stuff happens, especially if it's not your fault. So again, I'm happy to see him there, and obviously, from what I'm saying, I'm rooting for them, and I just think that they will pull it out.
Right, let's move to the East now, and this game this ties a little bit behind. Montreal Canadiens against the Buffalo Sabres. The Habs lead 2-1. Game 4 of that is later tonight on Tuesday. That's in the Bell Centre. And as things stand, the Canadiens have won the last 2 games. They won 5-1 on Friday, and then again 6-2 on Sunday. It looks as though it looks as though from an outsider point of view, this might be the end of the road for the Sabres. First time in the playoffs for 14 years, that's been well documented to death, and it looks as though they've met their match in the Canadiens. And flying the flag for Canada, Jade, how much would you love to see the Stanley Cup back in Canada, even if it is in Montreal?
Of course I would. The last Stanley Cup winner actually was Montreal in '92, I think. So again, they made the finals in the lockout or in the COVID year too. So Montreal's the only team that's really done anything. Edmonton making the finals in two times in a row. But again, after Buffalo game one, I thought Buffalo was the better team. I even said it, but Montreal, these last two games, it's not even close. Like Buffalo got the last game, game three, they got the nice bounce off the back behind the net, tap in for Tage Thompson. I know you're like, well, okay, well maybe that Buffalo, did bring some jam or whatever to game three, but after that goal, Montreal just steamrolled them. It wasn't even close. Buffalo is playing perimeter hockey. Their fourth line is the only line that's laying any body checks. Tage Thompson, 6'6". Alex Tuck's a monster too. They've been minuses the last two games. They're perimeter guys right now. There's just no, to me, there's no jam. There's no, it just seems like the give a shit meter. There's nothing there. But maybe Montreal's just, one of those teams that you just can't get anything off of. They look really friggin' good right now. Newhook is a guy we were talking about before. The guy has 4 goals in the last 2 games.
Yep.
Fourth line guy. He's moved up. He's playing more minutes and whatnot. But that's the thing about hockey and good coaching is just because a guy is on the fourth line doesn't mean you can't move him up, shift here, put him on the power play, blah, blah, blah. And that Evan too, those two guys together, like they're just beasts. Evan, I love him. He's a great penalty killer. So that's another key stat too. Buffalo 1 for 4. Last game, Montreal was 2 for 6. Again, Buffalo can't take penalties. Montreal's PP is starting to click. And what about Cole Caulfield scored now? And his name Slavkovsky scored. Yep. Again, Montreal is just every single zone they're dominating. Buffalo, game 1, had so many grade A chances. They were flying through the neutral zone, making great plays, and now it seems like everything's perimeter. They're not busting to the net. It just seems like they're waiting for somebody else to do something. They're not doing it, taking onus on themselves. And if you do that, if you keep pucks to the outside, that Dobis kid he's the real deal to me. He's just, you have to get bodies in front. You have to drive the net. You have to shoot for rebounds. You have to get him trying to make 2 or 3 saves. He's making the first save, and that's all that the Buffalo's getting. So it's so easy. The D are clearing out the front of the net. The back pressure from Montreal is way better than game 1. They're just, Buffalo is trying to make passes through the house, and nothing's coming about. Again, it's from game 1 to game 2 to game 3, Montreal is getting significantly better. And Buffalo stat, I saw they're 0-13 when they're down 2-1 in this series. The odds don't look good. Now, the odds were, what was Buffalo in the regular season? At the start of the season, they were last place in the league. And then what happened? They went all the way to first. So you can't really, count them out, especially this season. But if they don't come out absolutely on fire, and not the first couple shifts, but the absolute first period, they have to dominate the first period, and put Montreal out of their misery right off the bat. If they don't, Montreal is going to grind you down. And I went from Buffalo after game 1, and now, again, I'm on the bandwagon. If Montreal continues to do what they're doing in the last 2 games, it'll be 4-1. They'll win both these next 2 games. But again, I can't count Buffalo out just because of the how well they went through negativity at the start of the year to making the playoffs, and not even making the playoffs, like dominating 10 games here, win streak, this and that. So I'm just saying Buffalo needs some jam. If they don't, they're done.
And it'll be a nice walk to the arena for the Canadiens coach, Martin St. Louis, when I read him somewhere he walks to the arena. He lives nearby, apparently. So I dare say he'll have a nice chat with some of the fans on the way. So game 4 of that is tonight. That's Tuesday at the Bell Centre, Canadiens against the Sabres. Okay, the last game in the East, and that's been a few days ago now since that was settled. We had a feeling it was going to happen, and it did. The Hurricanes sweeping aside the Philadelphia Flyers 4-0 in the series. A 4-1 victory on Thursday. That was just after we last recorded. And then again on Saturday, 4-2. No big surprises there. They were always too strong for the Philadelphia Flyers, despite their best efforts. Jackson Blake got the most points across that series, 3 and 4, and fittingly he got the overtime winner on was it Saturday to see them through. And I like the story about Sean Walker. Did you hear this, Jade? Sean Walker, after game 3, he's sitting, he's recovering. His wife's heavily pregnant. He got the call. The baby was coming. So he had to fly back to Raleigh to see his wife and be there for the birth of his kid. Wife had the kid. Taylor, his wife, has the baby. Baby's name's Quinn. So lovely little story. He was there for that. Yeah. Great news all round. And the owner, Tom Dundon, managed to get him a private jet back in time for game 4. Did you hear that story? That was a great story.
That's great. Again, you love to hear that. I don't have any children, but if I was playing and my wife was pregnant, you have to be there. It's just one of those things. I know the playoffs or whatever, but it's different from, playing in Europe where, the owners probably don't all have private jets. So that's a nice thing to have. And of course, an owner would definitely, if an owner didn't help a player out like that, especially when you have that much money, then, that's kind of, pretty pathetic. But again, they always seem to be able to do that. So that's awesome for him. But yeah, again, Carolina, like we said, I hoped Philadelphia was going to pull one out. Again, 3-2 overtime to clinch the series. Philly was, battled 2 games. They went to overtime. I think, talking with my uncle again, my uncle loves Philly. He just was devastated after they got swept. And I was like, why are you so devastated? Like, you knew they were going to lose. And, those kind of fans always have optimism, right? Again, when I cheer for whatever the Hammers in football league or football in the Premiership, right? When they're playing Manchester United or Arsenal, which, hey, Arsenal's still leading?
Yeah, I'm a Liverpool fan. I don't care.
Yeah, but again, this is the first time in how many years, right? I've been kind of
20 odd years.
With my
20 odd years.
Yeah. How many games are left? Just to get off top for a sec.
2, I think, off the top of my head.
2.
Yeah.
So they almost like pretty much got it, or
almost still work to do, but it's in their hands. That's the best way to describe it. It is in their hands.
Crazy, man. Yeah, because I remember a couple. Who was it? Arsenal guys. I think it was David Clark was an Arsenal fan. Or was he Liverpool? No, I think he was Arsenal. The Cannons, right?
Little Nottingham teammate.
Yeah, David Clark. For all the Brits, you guys all know David Clark.
Yeah, bit of a legend here.
I don't know. One of those teams, anyway. But anyway, to get back on topic, Carolina obviously did what they needed to do. But Philly, I'll tell you, in a year or two, if they get some pieces in there, get some speed, a little more speed and skill, I think they could do some damage in the playoffs. But like we said, Colorado and Carolina, I think they're destined to go into a heavyweight tilt here in the finals. But hey, again, it's really early. But Carolina, man, they're just it's crazy. You just never see any panic, they're just so well coached. The players they just know it's their year, I think, and nothing can just phase them. So it's nice to see a team just be automatic like that. I'm just wondering if they do have a loss coming up, how are they going to be able to take it, right? Are they going to be able to put it away, or are they going to just let it stew? So, Again, it's great sweeping series, but you want to feel a loss here and there to, just to feel one, because, again, they don't know any disappointment right now. So, again, next series, Montreal, Buffalo, whoever, again, I just think Carolina's the team to get out of the East.
Yeah, I did read they got a couple of days off, Sunday and Monday, and they're also the 5th team in NHL history to reach the conference final with a record of 8 0. So good for them.
Just 5 teams.
Just 5, yep. I do my homework, man.
Yeah, no, but I'm just that shocks me because of, you just like I could see 12 get into the Stanley Cup final with 12 straight wins, right? I could see that being really hard, but only 5. That's crazy. Anyway,
yeah, there you go.
Thank you for that.
Unless I've written it down wrong, but that's what I've got anyway.
No, again, I was just asking because that's you'd think it'd happen more often. I would anyway, so.
Right, we're going to take a break there. We'll be back after the break. We're going to look at the World Championships, which starts later in the week in Switzerland. Welcome back to the Galbraith Report, Part 2. We've covered the NHL. Just one little thing, NHL-wise, before we move on to talking about the World Championships. I saw a story there about Matthew Schaefer. We were talking about how great a kid he is, how great a kid he's been on the ice. He announced on Monday that he's going to be partnering with New York's largest health system, Northwell Health, to support cancer patients and their families. A $150,000 donation from the Islanders Children's Foundation going to the Jennifer Schaefer Child Support Centre in honour of his late mother, who sadly passed away a couple of years ago. And again, this kid is really well grounded, and that was a really good story to read.
I saw something about it. I just kind of flipped over it. I was doing something else. But again, it doesn't surprise me. Like we said, like everybody says, not only is on ice, like the kid's just an amazing kid. Everybody that talks about him before they go into his skill level and how unbelievable a player he is at such a young age, they always talk about how he's an amazing human being at that age, to be that mature and to it's a phenomenal thing. Now again, NHL players, they can do that stuff and partner with certain, but to partner with that big of an entity. And for them to at such a young kid and the Islanders to feel comfortable doing it as well, just shows the character on Matthew. It's an amazing thing for a kid to be that young and to be doing what he's doing on the ice and then off the ice to go through what he's gone through, losing a parent, so early. It's just a testament to the parents and to him as a man. So I just nothing shocks me about that kid with what he's doing on and off the ice. So definitely something makes me smile. So.
Definitely does. Yep. Well done, Matthew, on that one. Okay, World Championship starts this week, and it's taking place in Zurich and Freiburg, I think I read somewhere. I didn't actually write it down. But yeah, 2 groups. USA are in a group with Switzerland, Finland, Germany, Latvia, Austria, Hungary, and GB. And Group B sees your boys, Canada, taking on Sweden, Czechia, Denmark, Slovakia, Norway, Slovenia, and Italy. Before we start, Jade, how much attention is there on the World Championships in North America? Obviously, we're right deep into the NHL playoffs right now. I know the Olympic final was huge. That got a lot of interest. How does the World Championships compare in terms of interest?
Well, again, you always want to cheer for your country, and you always want to, any international tournament, Canada is, as fans, as players, you always want to represent your country and win. Now, it's tough for Canada to get a lot of their top guys into World Championships because at the end of the year, if you made the playoffs and you got beat out right away, you're kind of mad. You might be banged up during the regular season. A lot of the older guys let the younger guys kind of go there and take over for the World Championship. So again, I'm not saying Canada doesn't get good players. Celebrini's there, lighting it up as usual wherever he goes. But again, right now it's 100% NHL playoffs. But maybe a little people are watching and seeing. Now, once the playoffs get to the finals and stuff, there's not so many games. The World Championships goes for what, 2 weeks or two and a half weeks, something. It's pretty long tournament. They play a ton of games. So usually it kind of gets better as the round robin kind of dissipates. So again, I like the World Championships. If it's on, I'll during the day or whatever, I'll watch a game, or watch a period here or there. But again, it's one of those things that I'll watch GB play or I'll watch, Germany play just because I played there. So that kind of thing. But it's mostly NHL playoffs for me, and I'd say for most of the fans that are out there. But again, once it gets to the quarterfinals, semifinals, then you'll see a lot more people kind of get interested.
Yeah. And of course, the teams have been preparing for the World Championships, which begins on Friday with some exhibition games. The GB having a couple of games in Italy. They lost 2-0 on Sunday and was at Varese. They're playing again tonight after we record. Canada recorded a victory on Sunday, 6-1 against France. USA beat Germany 5-2 at the weekend as well. So it's fine-tuning the lines, getting everybody together. Now, I want to go back to the Olympics, Jade. I'm assuming you watched the Olympic gold medal final. How much did that hurt Canada, the fact that USA went on and won it? And is there revenge in mind coming into this tournament if they end up playing each other?
Yeah, it's one of those things that I always get asked, like, what did you think about the Olympics, the finals? And you ask any hockey person, and you ask any of the players that are on the United States, they pulled out something that, they probably, you ask them again, they to a man, they had to have said that we got outplayed. Our goalie played out of this world, made a couple huge saves. That block or that paddle save he made on, I think it was Gerard or Taves or whoever I forget who they. Anyway, the open net save there. Canada was just flying, and that's the thing about a one-game final is anything can happen. And the United States, when they got to overtime, they probably were in the dressing room like, yes, okay, guys, we can do this, blah, blah, blah. Because, again, overtime, you never know what's going to happen. And look what happens. We get a couple good chances, a couple opportunities right off the bat. They go down, and just like hockey is, goalie plays unreal on one side. The other goalie didn't get many shots, many opportunities. There's the gold medal. But, again, I was, of course, upset that they lost. But on the other hand is they played better. They deserved to win. But that's not how hockey goes, and that's not how sports goes. And again, kudos to the United States for winning. Again, all the memes and everything saying that they're the best hockey country in the world and blah, 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 and this and that. That kind of pissed me off. But it wasn't hockey. It wasn't hockey people that put that up there. It's just trollers trying to get you to react and do all that stuff. But you ask any hockey person, States, Britain, anywhere in the world, if you said that the United States was the better team that game, you should get your head checked because Canada dominated, and that's not how hockey goes. Just because you play better doesn't mean you're going to win. So the United States bought their time till the overtime and then get a break, and look what happens. And that's the thing is, no hard feelings, but again, I would have liked to see Canada win, but it is what it is.
That is what it is.
Great game and whatever. Again, I'm not happy about it, but that's sports, so you can't really. I
think I've hit a nerve. Right, we'll move on. Just when I look at it, USA won the World Championships last year as well. So that they've won the two big gold medals in the last 12 months. Canada, I forgot this at the time, and it wasn't until I looked again earlier. They went out at the quarter-final stage last year to Denmark, which was so un-Canada-like. So there must be something on the Canadian team this year that they've got to try and at least get to the final. Show some signs of progression, that this isn't a slump that they're in, that's going to, a prolonged kind of slump.
It is, though. I'll tell you right now, Canada hockey has gone down. It's going down right now, and I'll probably get crucified on this and whatnot from people that listen and know me. We World Juniors, we've just been absolutely laying an egg every year, and it's an epidemic that's going on in Canada right now with I just think, and I could go on and we'll do an episode about Canadian hockey. We have the best players in the world. We have the best junior league in the world. That is something that we just take for granted. We don't get better. We don't, it's just something that is really bothering me lately. And I'd like to talk about it in depth at another episode, but we have to start to move up. We are going down. We used to have 68% of the players in the NHL. Now we have like 47 or something like that percent. It's one of those things that we take for granted that we were the best. Now we are the best. We could put two teams in the Olympics. We could put two teams in World Championships that would probably play each other in the final, or at least make it to the semifinal. That's how good. But on the other hand, is you want to look at countries like Finland, who have 8 million people, and they have how many players. They have like 50 or 60 players in the NHL. That's unbelievable to have that amount. Sweden, same thing. Those Scandinavian countries, for how small they are, to have that many players in the NHL and to be doing what they're doing in the World Juniors, to do what they're doing in the World Championships every single season, we take for granted because we win a lot, but now we're losing. So we have to change things up. We can't just have the status quo anymore. So that's something that I just, as you know, I'm getting frustrated about talking about it, but I think Canada needs to wake the hell up and start to change the way of thinking. We're not the best anymore. We're not. States won the gold. World Juniors, we didn't even get to we lost to Czechia again. The World Championships, I don't remember the last time we won a World Championship. So that's something that Canada is just, we're taking for granted, and we shouldn't be doing that anymore. As a Canadian and a Canadian fan, this has to stop. We have to show the world that we are a premier power, and we're not showing it. And it's really becoming frustrating for not only me, but other hockey guys that I talk with that played. It's something that, I don't know if the organizations are taking it for granted. Canadian hockey's taking it for granted. It's got to stop. And I hope this year, we have a better showing and we can start to move up, because we've been going on a decline for way too long.
Just one more thing about Canada before we do move on. You mentioned earlier about the fact that because of where the World Championships are in the calendar, obviously the NHL is going on, and that takes precedence, I guess, with a lot of these NHL players. But I did see that Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby aren't involved. I couldn't see why they weren't involved, because they were knocked out in the playoffs at the first round. Are they just sitting this one out? They've had the long season. They're just taking a break. Crosby, especially as an older guy, maybe needs that extra time to sort of get a break.
It's 100%. The World Championships for Canada, that's a tournament that definitely we want to win as Canadians, and we have the players, even the stars that aren't going. We have a good enough team to make it competitive. But again, those guys, the World Championships isn't a big motivator for those stars. They want to get their rest, the regular seasons, their NHL teams. They're focused on that. But again, if you're out of the playoffs and you got nothing else to do, it's great to keep the legs up. You get to see the part of the world. It's like a little vacation. But again, the vacation is a vacation, but you're there to play hockey. And I think McKinnon said it best when he was in the Olympics. He's there for business. And I think Canada has just got to say, hey, we are the best country. I still think we are, but we got to show it. You can't just say that you're the best at something and then lay an egg every year. We have to change the mentality. We have to change the way we pick players, especially World Juniors. All we do is take first and second rounders. It was hard to watch. So anyway, I could go into it, and I want to talk about that maybe after the playoffs or whatever, because we are going down and the other countries are going up. And before we know it, we're going to be fifth place. We're going to be the bridesmaid every year, and that's not something that Canada is used to, and things got to change. So,
right, well, as I mentioned, GB are involved. They got promoted again last year after winning Division 1A, that competition in Romania. Pete Russell is our head coach, has been since 2015. Last in the top division 2 years ago. The only victory came on the final day when GB beat Austria by 4-2, but ultimately relegated. I went through the squad here, Jade, thinking back to your time here in the UK. Yeah. You played here from 2008 to 2013 with Nottingham Panthers for 3 years, and then what was Braehead Clan for 2 years, now Glasgow Clan, of course. And some of the names that leapt out from your time. Robert Lakovic, still doing his stuff with Glasgow Clan.
Yeah. I mean, I love I was player coaching in Australia a couple of years ago, and
of course, Rob was there.
Yeah, he played in Perth, and we got to see each other. It was just like that guy. You ask anybody who knows him or met Robert Lakovic, he's one of the best kids, or I can't say kid anymore, but
he's 36 now.
He was 17 years old when he played Nottingham, and now he's in his 30s or whatever, and still doing his thing. Love that kid. More like just him, Tom Norton, another guy, Stevie Lee were the young guys on the team, and they're just great kids, great hockey players, did their country proud. But Robert's still one of those guys that's again, he's so fast, he's a smart player, would do anything for the team, and again, I just love seeing him up there, and I love seeing him still playing the game that he loves and doing well at it. So Robert, good job, buddy. Good to see you a couple years ago, and glad you're still playing, buddy.
Yep. Well, assisting Pete Russell on the bench is Corey Nielsen, your former coach from Nottingham. He was most recently the head coach at the Glasgow Clan. Not only will he be there, his two sons, Logan and Cade, are involved in the squad as well. I dare say you'll remember those two guys when they were kids.
Yeah, so anyway, me and Corey played in the minors together, and that's where I met him. We actually played together, and we just got along. We were just, but Corey's kind of a mercurial guy. He's a different dude. You got to kind of take him with a grain of salt. You never know what he's thinking, kind of thing. And I loved it. I love trying to make him laugh, trying to make him smile. It's so hard to do. So
you're right. I work with him at the Clan. He's difficult.
Yeah, again, I see him on the bench, and the guy's stone-faced all the time. I love Corey. I love his family. But again, Cade and Logan were like 7-8 years old, and again, like you see him now, like Cade playing in the World Championships a long time, like for the last 5 years or whatever, and now Logan, what he's done, been kind of keeping tabs on him. He's getting better and better every season, and that kid he's just one of those things that kudos to them to not only they're born in the States or Canada, one of the places I know they grew up a little bit in Canada, but to play minor hockey in Britain, not saying that that's bad or anything, but it's hard to, get the coaching and get the competition to be able to do what they're doing, and how like it's just a testament to British hockey and to those two, Cade and Logan, to be able to do what they're doing. And I bet you they just love playing with each other, especially on that high of stakes. Like it's to play for your country is pretty amazing, no matter where it is. I know, again, everybody's like, wow, it's British hockey, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they're in the World Championships against the best countries in the world. And they're brothers. Like that's an amazing feat to be able to do that. And that's a testament to Corey too. Corey's a great coach, great mentor. He really raised those kids the right way. And you can see like they're both great kids. I'm saying kids now, they're mid-20s. So it's
20s now,
early 20s. It's the time flies, but I was not shocked to see those kids get to where they're going. Now, again, it helps to be 6'9" and 6'8" or whatever, how big those kids are. That's crazy. They're taller than Corey is, and Corey's 6'6" or 5" or whatever he is. So when I see the kids, I just see these little runts skating around, and now to see them, like, they're monsters. So I'm really happy to see those guys. I wanted to ask you, Craig, is Liam Kirk playing, or is he injured, or what's going on? I know he was in Berlin and they won a championship. They won the DL championship.
Yeah, they won back-to-back championships. I think his name was on the list.
But I was looking at the lineup and I didn't see his name on it. So maybe he's taken a little time.
I think he's taken. I think the German season has just finished, so I don't think he's been involved in these exhibition games. But he will certainly be there for the tournament.
Yes, again.
So I think he's
love that kid, man. That kid just shows me something. Ever since that first World Championship where he was lighting Canada up, the GB team every year just seems to have a couple players coming up through the ranks, playing in those elite leagues in Europe and doing their thing. I think I just love it. I love seeing them, battle and compete. And again, I have a bias, obviously, playing there. I really want them to do well. So I think the British hockey is they're actually putting money in it. The facilities are getting way better. The fans are starting to like it. It's something that's pretty friggin' cool.
Yeah. Some other names to throw at you from your time here. Mark Richardson was your teammate in Nottingham for a year. More closely associated with Cardiff Devils, and genuinely one of the nicest guys out there. Richie's just an absolute star, isn't he?
I know, Mark. I've never seen that guy say a bad word, even if he gets ran from behind into the boards. That man is a smile on his face. Just a great guy. I never got to play with him that long, but one of those guys that I can't think of a time where he was mad at anybody or mad at anything. It's just one of those guys that just the water off a duck's back. I just loved his demeanor. I was a hothead. I'd get mad at friggin' if the puck wasn't dropped correctly. Like I was just that guy. And to see that, I think back at my days, and I think back at the players I played with, trying to take little bits from players off the ice, like again, Clark and David Clark was one of my best friends. Danny Myers was one of my best buddies too. It's just story. I miss those guys and all that. But just as you grow as a human, you want to, look back and take things from people. And Mark Richardson, man, I can't picture him like doing anything angry. Like the guy was just one of the nicest salt of the earth guys you'll ever meet. So I'm very happy he's still playing too. He's probably the old guard now. He's got to be one of the oldest guys on the team now.
He's 39 years old. He's also the all-time appearance maker in the UK Elite League as well.
Wow, good for him. That is awesome.
Overtook Jonathan Phillips, I think, in the last year or so. And Jonah was around a long time, so there you go.
Yeah, I played against him, fucking rights too. So again, congratulations, Mark. That's a great feat. And anyway, good luck to Team GB. Let's stay up and not get relegated. So that'd be a really good feat. So. And
3 names you would have played against when you were here: Ben Davis, who was a young lad when he was at Cardiff; Robert Dowd, who's the GB captain, and Ben O'Connor. He's dropped into what's called the NIHL now, the national division. That used to be the old English Premier League.
OC for sure. Again, he was in every league. I loved OC. He was another guy that's always happy, smiling around there. Old as well, probably now. He's probably, 30-something?
37.
37, yeah.
37.
So again, I know he was right around, not my age, but he was up and coming when I was there. He was a hell of a defenseman. Dowd, I battled with that guy like crazy. He in Sheffield all the time, man. That guy, just a absolute beast. He was in Sheffield, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dowd was in Sheffield. Yeah.
Still is.
Did he go to Belfast for a year or two?
Yep, that was back about 2010, 2011.
Yeah. But anyway, that guy, I always had to play against him. He grinded me down. He was always chirping me. He was hard to play against. So again, that guy is just a workhorse, great captain. Perfect pick for that. So anyway, all of those guys, I wish them the best. I'm really happy they're still playing the game that they love and, still at the highest level. So again, to the Nielsen boys, Corey, Richardson, OC, all of those guys, good luck and do Britain proud.
There you go. Now, just quickly, we'll touch on USA. They've changed a lot of their team from the guys that played in the Olympics. I think the only notable player that's still there is Matthew Tkachuk, who won the gold medal in Milan earlier this year. I think they've brought in 13 first or second round NHL draft picks as well. So they've gone for a much younger team, which is quite something. And as I mentioned earlier, they do come in as the gold medal holders as well. So that's going to be an interesting thing. They play GB on Sunday, USA. That's their second game.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Nice. Again, there's the States, their program is one of the best with the younger kids. Their U.S. development program is very, very elite, if not the best. So not surprised that they're bringing all those kids to get experience. Tkachuk, people are saying, well, why is that guy playing there? He had a lot of injuries this season, so I think he wants to get some games and get some feel moving into next season. Again, he was probably really disappointed in the injuries and what happened in Florida. They just couldn't get in on a roll. Their guys were in and out of the lineup because of injuries. Barkov missed the whole season, which was a huge thing. But I think Tkachuk, I love Tkachuk. He played for Calgary. I love the way he plays, and I think he's playing. Not to say he wouldn't play if he had a long season, but I think he's trying to stay in that hockey mentality moving forward for the next season, just because of how the season started and ended in Florida. So again, one of those things. World Championships, a lot of young kids in and out. So it is what it is.
Well, it all starts on Friday. Excuse me. Canada take on Sweden in their first game. The USA take on Switzerland. As I mentioned, GB start on Saturday. They take on Austria. And then on Saturday, Canada take on Italy, and it's USA against GB on Sunday. We'll cover that as we go as well, just as we do with everything else. But that about does it for this episode of the Galbraith Report. So it's still early where you are, Jade. What's your plans for the day? A bit of work and then a bit of I don't know.
Heading out right now for a couple meetings and then doing some tidying up, take the dog for a walk.
Thank you for listening to the Galbraith Report, part of the CWA Ice Hockey. It's on Substack, on Twitter, Facebook, etc. at CWA Ice Hockey. It'd be great to have you on board. Subscribe and listen to the Galbraith Report. Thank you so much. Jade, until next time, my friend.
Cheers, my friend. Have a great day, buddy. You too.
Take care. Bye for now.